What I'm going to do is keep this hand. This hand's pretty good. Yeah, I should have mana weaved. Ooh, maybe I'm supposed to play around. No, they're not going to play Leading Arbiter if they're playing Windswept Heath. Looks like the Reclaimer deck. This is what beat me in the finals of last week's challenge. Can we get our revenge today? Our hand is really good against them, so I think yes is the answer. We probably can Apparition whatever they play this turn. I'm going to get a Prairie stream with my Heath here. Yeah, lots of casual players want a mana weave. My friend Jalen, who's someone I've known, like my oldest friend really, went to middle school and high school with him, and I taught him how to play Magic, and then it was like a little while ago he wanted to play, and I said okay, and then he just started mana weaving, and like he picked up the habit from his cousin, and I was so disappointed. He should know better than that. They get another Dryad, and they should be able to Valakut us. It's pretty good. Pretty good. They're down to only 2 cards in their hand. Okay. Oh, so I guess probably not everyone knows what mana weaving is. Mana weaving is the practice of evenly distributing your lands and your spells in your deck, and then just kind of trying to get a good ratio, which is cheating. It's just stacking your deck, but a lot of casuals do it. You know, whatever, right? I think we need to hold up 4 mana this turn, because there's a card called Primeval Titan that this deck tends to try to cast a lot, all the time. So I'm gonna counter. I think I'm gonna counter bounce the illusion token. So good for us that they don't have a land. And then I'll path the Dryad, I think, in their draw step, because if they play a fetch land, then they get to deal 3 damage to us, even through the path. Although this does turn on Field of the Dead for them. So never mind. They didn't have a land last turn. Let's just not do that quite yet. Because we can like bounce 3 of their lands into turn. Or 2 of their lands into turn and then upkeep, bounce another land. Yeah. This seems better to me. So it's bounce Field and then Valakut, and then we can path the Dryad in their upkeep, and they won't be able to trigger Valakut or Fields of the Dead, and then we should be able to, like, you know, lock them out with Witness Ephemerate, I think. I almost pathed my Venser because my brain was thinking Ephemerate still. I think this could be kind of bad if they have a path to exile of their own for us. Although I feel like if they had one, they would have like played to that earlier. Opponent says 1 sec. Oh no. Good morning, Lamp. They're calling a judge. Ah. Man, I miss Paper Magic so badly. It's just always my favorite day. Spend all day at a tournament center with your friends. If you have a sec, I do have a sec. What opponent said 1 sec. How do I feel about Ashiok? I know you said it gets overboarded. I know a lot of control, mid-range, only play 1-3. I think Ashiok is a good sideboard card in Modern. I think it's especially good right now because there's a lot of Titan decks. I think people over sideboard it, and that's mostly like why I'm so critical of it, is because people boarded it in matchups that I don't think that they should. It seems like a lot of people want to board it in. Like a lot of times when I have it in my sideboard, people will, no matter what matchup I'm playing, people will say I should bring in Ashiok because it stops, just their fetch lands. And I don't think Ashiok is that good to bring in like every single mid-range matchup, but I do think that it is a good sideboard card, and it is something that every deck should consider playing. I think that it's possible we even want to play Ashiok in the sideboard, and I have been thinking about it, but I do feel like the 4 gusts are really important to deal with the mono red prowess deck. Just so nice to be able to deal with Blood Moon and Blood Moon decks in general. That's also where I like the Aether Gusts, and if we cut the gusts for Ashioks, then that gets a bit tricky. And it's not like this matchup is just going to be good if we put Ashiok in the sideboard. I think the matchup is still going to be in their favor, although a little bit better for us. Oh, you're asking what Ashiok is good against, what it is not worth. Oh, great question. Ashiok is best against Primeval Titan decks. That's mainly what you want it for. I think it's also pretty good against most Uro and Omnath piles, although, it kind of depends on exactly what you're playing. It's possible that for some reason you won't want it as your strategy. And it's also good against Dredge, but it's not. It is not like a premier piece of hate against Dredge because it's often too slow, but it is solid. Does it suck in a control mirror? It depends on the control mirror. I would not bring it in the mirror, in the Bant control mirror, because there's a million Skyclave apparitions and just creatures to attack it. But if it's like in the Miracles mirror, Ashiok is great because nobody plays creatures, and then Ashiok just being 3 mana mill 20 is, unbeatable. I'm gonna mulligan this hand. I'm gonna keep this one. This hand is like, exactly what you want against some decks, but not every deck. Kind of weird. We could go basic forest. We could just get a basic forest with this Misty, and then our mana's kind of perfect. No, that's not true because then we don't have triple blue because we can't filter the Prairie stream into another blue source. So we'll just play this tapped and then maybe get a breeding pool here. I know Nassif was playing Celestia Charm in his sideboard of 5-color Niv in Pioneer earlier this year, and I honestly didn't even think it was very good in the list, but I didn't want to, I'm of course down to play it because I just love Celestia Charm. Well, we're pretty cold to a turn 2 Blood Moon with this hand, but it did name red, so Ponza, not Heliod. Okay, I'm going to fetch an island here. Although we could maybe fetch a different land and try to hit Force of Negation off of Ice-Fang. I think this is a bit better. We have 2 basic planes in the deck, and drawing one of those would be really ideal now that we've drawn Teferi. Yeah, turn 2 Blood Moon on the plays. Or on... Oh, I guess they were on the draw, huh? Still pretty good against us. We have outs, Force of Negation. Just get Island Plains into Teferi. That's true, you're right. I wouldn't have had a blue card. I mean, if we just draw one of our 2 basic planes, I think that we're in business. Probably not too many outs beyond that. I guess we could draw Island plus Venser. Could draw more white cards and no basic planes. I do think this matchup is fine. Got 4 Aether Gust, and so Blood Moon isn't even that good against you in sideboard games. But Boil is. I think I saw somebody cast your Chromatic Lantern. Didn't some Niv Mizzet players sideboard Chromatic Lantern against Blood Moon decks? If only there was a 1-mana Chromatic Lantern that instead of tapping for a mana drew a card when it entered the battlefield. Don't think they'd ever print a card like that. It would be great. You could play Blood Moon in your 4 or 5 color deck. You wouldn't choose Chromatic Lantern because it gets blown up by Pillage. Makes some sense. Poggers, dude. Poggers. Although, what do we cast in? We could go Teferi plus. I guess we can't go Teferi plus. Teferi bounce Blood Moon and then play Wall is an option. That seems okay to me. But, I don't know. The Skyclave probably gets stranded forever. We could just play the Wall, and the next turn we could play Teferi, bounce the Blood Moon, and then Skyclave the Clothis. I think I'm going to do that. Pretty interesting decision, you know. I say this all the time, but all I like to do with Magic is make interesting decisions. We got 2 basic planes in the deck. Prismatic Omen's pretty cool. Cool tech. Although, yeah, it actually doesn't beat Blood Moon if Blood Moon comes down second. I don't think they're going to exert. They're just going to smack me for 12, I would imagine. Oh, this is good for us. Yeah, I think that gives us just a chance of winning. Not a good chance, but we'll take it. It's kind of funny. We can't really fetch a basic planes here. I guess we could chump block the Bone Crusher Giant and get basic planes. I don't think it's necessary, though. Let's go Teferi, bounce Blood Moon, Skyclave, Clothis. And then, you know, continue to draw perfectly, of course. Kind of interesting if we go to 1 or not if they attack me with Bone Crusher. Because the Skyclave is just so valuable to have in hand with this Ephemerate, but then we're just kind of dead to anything ever, which is not a great spot to be in, especially with them having 5 cards in their hand. If we block and we draw Uro, what's the chance that we can escape Uro? Very, very low, I think. I guess if these 2 cards go to the graveyard and we draw Uro into fetch lands, could happen. I think that we're going to need to draw Cryptic Command, and to do that, I think we're going to need to Skyclave the Blood Moon, and to do that, we're going to need to not block the Bone Crusher Giant. So I'm going to go to 1. Yeah, I mean, if they don't replay Moon, we can't win, because they're just doing something that kills us, I think. So I think we just have to assume that this is their best line. And so now we need to draw Cryptic or Time Warp. So to do that, we need to have... they're attacking Teferi! Hell yeah. That's awesome. As long as this card has been legal, people have overvalued a 1 loyalty to Teferi, especially when they're playing decks like Red-Green. Okay, Ooze is relevant, but, you know, we've got outs. And they activated the Ooze immediately. Ah! We're probably not going to draw anything, but we need to go Wall of Omens into Cryptic and to have a chance. And we'll see what happens, I guess. Are we actually dead? We go block. Yeah, we are dead. It's a cool game. Cool game. So I don't like Anthonias against them, but I do like the third path. I think I want to play no remands, no cryptic commands. Probably do want to play the third wall, and then we can either play the second Venser or the Hero of Dominaria. Both seem fine to me. Hero just gets so much better when you have 4 Gust in your deck. You just go Teferi plus Gust. That's kind of the problem I have found with Teferi in Historic, is like there just aren't a ton of good 2-mana counterspells to play Teferi and then hold up. Just aren't a ton. I think I'll play the Teferi over the Venser. What's my favorite deck in Historic at the moment? It's the deck I've registered for the PT, but I'm gonna post it on Monday. I'm not done with the 75, but I'm gonna keep it under wraps for now. But beyond that, I have been enjoying God Pharaoh's Gift with Burial Rites. I thought the deck's been a lot of fun, but I think it's worse than what we played and how it performed on last Tuesday. It's all blurring together. But I streamed with it during the last downtime, which was Tuesday, and it looked really good on stream, but I think it was worse than it looked. So I'm going to path this Arbor Elf so that we don't get mooned. This hand was soft to Utopia Sprawl plus Moon, but not so soft to Arbor Elf. Okay, I'll just Gust then. I'm still trying to figure out Standard. I think I'm going to play Blue-Black Control in Standard. I've got some interesting ideas on how to build it. I've been kind of struggling against the food deck because the food deck is so grindy. Just the enchantment always seems to get me. So we could go Uro and Ephemerate Uro. We actually can't because this... Yeah, never mind, we can't. Unless we hit a white source. I think I'll just Teferi plus. I don't want to minus and just get Blood Mooned. And this is good against... I mean, if they Bloodbraid Elf, they don't get the Cascade. No, I don't think we're supposed to minus. Then they just play Blood Moon and we lose the game. But then if they play Blood Moon, we can minus on the Moon. Although we could get boiled. Ugh. Yeah, this is fine. They don't get their Seasoned Pyromancer. They do get to put the Teferi to 2 loyalty, but I don't even think I'm very worried about that. Maybe I should be. Let's play Wall of Omens over Uro here. Wall blocks the Bloodbraid Elf pretty well, of course, and drew the literal perfect card. Yeah, Doom, I've actually considered the same thing. One thing, though, is like I haven't really liked the Triomes very much in Blue-Black. Just like so many tap lands. Like I've just been happier without them, but I have considered playing the Triomes and playing Wilt and like 1 forest. And I think that's a reasonable plan. They do put the Moon back on top. And then they have something else. Bolt for my Teferi, which is my answer to Moon, so we're going to need to find another answer. Any fetch land does get us back an Aether Gust. Or just the card. Mystic Sanctuary. Yeah, Trail of Crumbs, I agree, is real hard to beat. I guess if they Blood Moon, I'm probably just going to Ephemerate my wall. And then I probably would rather Gust the Blood Moon on their draw step next turn so they don't just immediately replay it. We do have an island, of course. Is Skyclave Apparition seeing much play in Historic? Not a ton. Like I thought the God Pharaoh's Gift deck was going to be the best Skyclave Apparition deck, and maybe it is. Yeah, I was thinking about Feed the Swarm about 9,000, but the problem is like Feed the Swarm doesn't kill the Great Hinge, but like Wilt does, and so like they have both the food enchantment and the Great Hinge, and you'd like to be able to kill both with whatever card you're bringing in for those. Oh, I didn't float white mana. I guess we'll just end of turn Gust then. Oops. a bit awkward. We'd also like Ephemerate Wall and Path Our Own Wall to get another basic source. Alright, I'll cycle this. This means if we draw a fetch land, now we get to escape Uro. 0 mana draw card. It's not a fetch land. So I guess they get to Blood Moon us. A little late. A little late, but better late than never. We don't have another Sanctuary. But what we can path like our own Ice-Fang and get a green source, or get a green off Misty and get a white source off of Path. They only have one card left. If I had another island or forest already in play, I would get the other one so I could escape Uro, but instead I'll just get a plains. This means we can draw a Teferi to deal with Blood Moon, one of our 2 other gusts. And we can also cast, a lot of our spells, but not all of them. We also do get to Ephemerate the Wall, so we're drawing 2 cards here. So I think we're in okay shape. They also don't have double red, which is kind of funny. We drew 2 spells. One of them is not castable yet. Now it is, baby. Hell yeah. That's such a perfect draw. Can't quite escape Uro 2, but, be a bit too much to ask for, I think. They do have double red now, so Glorybringer is back on the menu. Not quite fast enough to deal with Uro. That's a good draw too. If I draw Eternal Witness off of Uro, I will bounce the Klothys to protect my infinite turn combo. But if not, I'm just not going to bother. The drain doesn't matter very much when we're attacking with Uro. It's kind of funny how Klothys is like real good at Modern, but just doesn't see very much play in the younger formats. Always love to see a card be better in older formats than in younger ones. And that's because Modern and Legacy, where this card also sees play, is formats where people trade resources super aggressively, and then Klothys is a very resilient threat that is good when resources have been traded aggressively. Yeah, fetches too. Yeah, for sure. I mean, just fetch lands just make every card better, to be honest. So I'm going to leave the Ice-Fang black to make them exert onto that. Never mind, I'm just going to Time Warp and attack with the Ice-Fang.
Hey, baby.
Yeah.
Is Teferi called Time Raveler or Time Traveler?
It's the Fun Raveler.
Oh my god. What?
The Fun Raveler. Teferi ravels all the fun.
You know, if you were on the couch.
Couch, I guess. Yeah, it's a very Jimmy Rustler. Can we actually keep them off of? Yeah, we could Skyclave their Elf and their Sprawl, and then they can't necessarily Glorybringer. Let me play an Uro first, because of course if we just draw an Ephemerate, we win. Go up to a casual 30 life. And then I think I want to bounce Clothis and then Skyclave the Arbor Elf. You know, if we had more mana, we could bounce the Witness. Guess this game's just over. We still have game 3 to play. Ruler, thank you for your Twitch Prime. Love to see a new subscriber. Thank you, buddy. Definitely the best way to support the channel, so I appreciate it. All right, I'm going to resubmit for game 3, and I'm going to use the restroom real quick, too.
Be right back.
Okay. Thank you for waiting. I'm going to keep this hand. This hand's okay. Might be the very rare fetch double basic planes hand. It's a bit awkward with Uro, but you know, if they play turn 1 Arbor Elf, we might need to go basic planes, path their elf, so we can have time to get another basic planes in play to get underneath Blood Moon. But they've kept a hand without a 1 mana accelerant, so now we don't have to do that. Although, by that I mean path their Arbor Elf, I think I'm still going to get double basic planes. I guess we won't fetch end of turn because we could draw something that's going to... Like, we could draw basic planes, or we could draw a Force of Negation that's going to make us not want to play so hard around Blood Moon. But I really think that if they've kept a... Oh, we did draw Force of Negation. I think I'm still doing it, though. Because if we get 2 planes, we don't have to force a Blood Moon, which is nice. We can force something else, like a Chandra. Keep the Uro in our hand, although Uro's not that good against Ooze. So this feels weird, but feels correct. Yeah, we could path our own wall as well. Might do that if we like Ephemerate wall and don't find a land, although I guess I'd want to rebound the Ephemerate. Maybe I was supposed to Ephemerate first, because now I can't also Ephemerate if I draw a land, and I did miss on the land. It's kind of tough. I think I want to keep the Uro to pitch to force. Alright, if we draw a land, we're in good shape. Of course, you know, we had 4 looks at 1 and we missed. It's kind of the story of today. I had X looks at a land and I still missed. How much more complicated is this? I think this deck is more complicated than Jeskai or Sharkblade. And it's hard to quantify how much more complicated one deck is than another, of course. I'm going to path now so I don't have to go to discard. It feels kind of bad. Was that 6 looks? 7 looks? Yeah, it was 7 looks without seeing one. We're still in fine shape. Like, now we get to start Skyclaving every turn. We don't have to Skyclave this Blood Moon. I would love to get to, like, Force of Negation, like a Chandra or something this turn. Is there a shell I would play Urza in? There's, like, a blue-white Stoneblade deck that plays Urza that I've been messing around with, and I think there's something there. I mean, there's lots of good Urza shells, I think. The problem with them is there's just like a million different tools and directions to go, but Urza is definitely still a good card in Modern. I thought this deck didn't play Stone Ring anymore. Yeah, they also don't have double red. It's kind of funny that sometimes the Blood Moon is worse for them than us. Maybe I'll Skyclave their Arbor Elf first. Are we still not going to draw a land? That'd be so frustrating. I can't believe it! What's going on? Oh my gosh. We were on the draw, and we've drawn 9 cards. We had the Path to Exile to get this basic island. I'm playing 24 lands. It's just, you know, it's not very likely to happen. maybe I'm complaining too much. We're just still kind of ahead here. This feels bad. Thanks, D5. Okay, fine. Yeah, it's all Fran's fault. Aha! We've done it! We've done it! Well, I think I'm just gonna bounce their ooze. Mountain off the top, baby! Yeah, we get to play Jeskai Control for a bit. Now the lands will start coming, and we'll see if they stop coming. This has been one of the weirdest games of Magic I've ever played. I'll get the moon off the field. I don't think we want to play our fetch out yet. Because I want to probably get Breeding Pool with this, and doing that means we don't have Path up. But I guess it's probably not that important to have Path up here. You can also get Temple Garden maybe to play around Boil with this. .072%. It's funny because it happened like twice today. They did an Arbor Elf off of their Bloodbraid. I'll save the Path for a Glorybringer. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of their Bloodbraid Elves so we can keep getting in here. But now if they play Glorybringer, am I going to Path it? Or am I going to try to block it with Ice-Fang? I'll probably just try to block it with Ice-Fang. I do, Johnny, but I'm trying not to post the list. I know I keep going back and forth and waffling on posting my PT tests, but I'm getting very close to figuring out what I want to play, so I want to keep it under wraps for now. But I'll be posting it on Twitter on Monday, probably. Yeah, sorry for being so wishy-washy about it, though. If this deck could play 8 copies of Ephemerate, if you could play 8 copies of Ephemerate, I would play like a different version. But yeah, like I would play a deck more similar to like the old Soul Herder decks, and I would just not play Soul Herder. But you know, the whole idea behind this deck is Ephemerate is better than Soul Herder, but Soul Herder makes you play different cards, like just more creatures that aren't all that good. Here come the lands. They're not activating their ooze, which is really bad against us drawing an Uro. Because we can play it if we still have cards in our graveyard to where we can escape it without them ever giving, without it ever being a target for Scavenging Ooze. But I think that they are choosing to not use ooze for time considerations, but it also feels like they have enough time that they maybe don't need to worry about that. Although if we just continue to only draw lands, we're going to lose. I'll path this Questing Beast. I do like Questing Beast a lot in their deck. They probably should have attacked with their Illusion token too. Uro off the top. This has been a painful match, dude. This has been a painful match. We kept a 2-land hand. We had to path our own wall because we missed on 8 or 9 looks at a land, something like that. And no, we've hit like 4 or 5 in a row. And we're also not even... I guess we can't Mystic Sanctuary because they have ooze, but... Okay. I mean, if we draw an Uro, we're just in good shape. The ooze is shutting off some of our top decks. Okay, this means that we can no longer draw Uro since we don't have triple green anymore, but I will just main phase cantrip. And I'll hold that. I mean, Ice-Fang is a good draw here, but I'm not going to play the Witness into the Scavenging Ooze. Yeah, I think they're just trying to play fast, Simon. They've made a few decisions that seem to be because they're just trying to play quickly because they don't have a ton of time on their clock, but do I think Domri Raid could be good in these Ghoul decks? Maybe as a sideboard card against blue decks, but it's hard to imagine any sideboard option being for blue decks being better than Boil or Veil of Summer. It's a good one. No, I don't, Jimmy. I think hate cards are a necessary thing for formats like Modern. Yeah, I kind of agree with you too to some extent. I think part of Pioneer's problem, say that 5 times fast if you want to. Part of Pioneer's problem, why on earth did they exert onto the wall, not an Ice-Fang? Part of the Pioneer's problem is that there's not a lot of good hate cards, and it's very like for big mid-range strategies, there just like aren't a lot of good sideboard cards for a lot of different archetypes. Are they gonna use the Arbor Elf too? I hope they do. They don't. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, let's do this. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I think that maybe they're flustered because they're low on time, and they're certainly making mistakes here. It's not, that's definitely happening, but you'll certainly see people make more mistakes the less time on the clock they have. Yeah, so I think we're going to win this game, even though it's been a real weird one. It's a great draw. Just so swingy. This whole game, just like missed like so many land drops. They just drew so many lands and drew a lot of good cards, drew a lot of bad cards. This match has just been real long numbers, and I tend to make my decisions really quickly. My opponent has just been taking, I think, an average amount of time for decisions. Yeah, I think they've made some bad calls, but I think they're just flustered due to their clock. The hand was pretty good though. So we could Gust Scavenging Ooze and then Skyclave the Blood Moon and then Eternal Witness back Gust. Next turn seems pretty good. They didn't activate the Ooze, so we could maybe get back a different card. They don't have attacks. Maybe they have attacks. Attack with just the illusion token. Yeah, I don't think this was a very good attack, honestly. All right, game over. I mean, my opponent's gonna time out, but they will also lose this game the fair way. So it is nice that this game like reached its natural conclusion, which is something I always want to have happen. I don't really like it when games go to time. No, our opponent didn't raid Scoop. It seemed like they had like something to do. They said, "I'm sorry, I have to go." So some IRL obligation. Hey Adam, how you doing today? Another Ponza matchup could be the Heliod deck. We'll see if they name black or white. They named white. Maybe we're supposed to force that. Okay, I want the ability to Skyclave next turn. Let me actually play Wall this turn, so maybe we can like surprise them with Ice-Fang down the line. I think Wall can also, of course, block. S-tier commentary from Aspiring Spike. They haven't drawn a second white source yet. If we do next turn, I think this game's going to be in our, like we'll be pretty ahead. If we don't, I think we're going to be in maybe rough shape. Okay, there's a white source. However, if they just have Spike Feeder here, we lose. I will force a Coco that's cast on their main phase. Okay, Conclave Mentor is fine. I kind of feel like Conclave Mentor is the worst card in their deck. I felt that way for a while now. It's not that it's like a terrible card, I guess, but I think it is their worst card. I feel like it could be like Luminarch Aspirant instead, and maybe Aspirant would be better. I'm probably gonna still Skyclave it next turn if I don't draw anything else, but I'd rather like Skyclave another Heliod here, or almost anything else. Maybe not Ranger Captain. Although if I draw like a Remand, I'll definitely Skyclave the Captain. They get a Ballista, which is not surprising, but pretty good for them. Alright, I'll Skyclave the Mentor. We have a path for the Ballista, and we're in okay shape. They can't Heliod combo me next turn, but if they do have another Heliod, the Ranger Captain's going to make it hard to break that up. It's a lot of mana. 6. Gonna play a 4/4 Ballista. Okay. Decides to draw a card first. What does that tell us about the contents of their hand? I guess it's just telling us that they have Heliod as the one unknown card. No? Double Spike Feeder. Weird. Okay, whatever. Big draw step. Cryptic Command. It's a big draw, kind of. I think I'm just going to main phase draw. I don't think I want to Skyclave the Captain. So its last card is Ballista. They're drawing another one. They can play a 4/4 Walking Ballista. They drew a Heliod? Whack. Wait. They don't have enough mana to go off. They can play Heliod and they can play a 1/1 Ballista, but they can't give the Ballista lifelink. They can put counters on the Ballista with the Spike Feeder. Oh, but they just have infinite life, so I will concede. They have 2 Spike Feeders for the infinite life, which we can't beat. Bummer. Weird game, too. I think this is how I've been siding. It is. I'm going to keep this plan. I think this matchup is okay. Skyclave is your best card. I don't have a Teferi in game 1, Z-Bug. That was game 1. We didn't have a Teferi in the deck. So that's the main reason. I have played Tails End against them, but it's only good against the card Heliod, really. And like even on the draw, it's like a lot of times you can't counter Heliod on turn 2 because they play it on turn 2 on the play. I don't think it's crazy. I just don't think it's where you want to be. Ephemerate plus Path could protect you. If we had held the Ephemerate, yeah. Although not against double Spike Feeder, actually. I didn't realize I got a shout out in an SCG article, but I did see that Reed shouted me out, and then LSV played the Jeskai deck, which is very cool. What was the SCG article? I missed that one. Heliod is a creature on the stack, yes, but it only enters as a creature if you have enough devotion. I think I am going to Anthonize this Captain. Oh, cool. Was the what to play deck this Bant deck?
Baby, can you come close the door? Lock the door for me?
What?
Can you lock the door?
Oh, yeah, I can. I don't know why I yelled at you guys. What? Sorry about that, our lock is still broken. So they have a Coco. Could Venser the Coco. I guess we will. If this is like Elodomri's call instead of just like them playing a Ballista on 2, I'm gonna be pretty happy. Yeah, Teferi can tuck himself every single turn. So like games 2 and 3 we don't concede to infinite life because we have a Teferi, but game 1 we do. You can theoretically win by looping Cryptic over and over again. But it's so mana intensive. It's not something we could realistically play to in that game, I think. I don't know. Maybe I should stop scooping game 1, but it feels like a waste of time to me, honestly. When it gets a Heliod, cast Heliod. We have a pretty good answer to that in the form of Teferi Fun Raveler. I think we should bounce it here instead of holding up Force. Although now we can't force the company because we didn't draw a blue card. Yeah, if Teferi was main deck, I wouldn't concede. You often see me boarding out Summoner Path Deep's Exile and boarding it onto Nice. Does that mean it's worth considering onto Nice main deck? It's certainly worth considering. I don't think it's currently correct. I think onto Nice is better against this deck than Path is. Like, Path is not really good against almost any of their creatures except for like Spike Feeder at instant speed while they're comboing off. And beyond that, it's just not that good. Opponent did not play very well around a counterspell. It's okay in other applications, but I think Ontanice is actively good against them. Ontanice is really good against. It's better than Path against Ballista. It's better than Path against Arbor Elf, Conclave Mentor, Ariok Champion, basically everything. And so I think you just kind of have to. But Path is better against Ponza, so you saw me play all Paths, no Ontanice last game. It's more of just like a matchup dependent thing. So I'm going to bounce the Ballista. And then what? I think we just need to draw a card. Draw like a real answer to their combo like that. Then we can Mystic Sanctuary back Ephemerate for next turn, although if they just play a 3/3 Ballista, Ephemerate's not going to be a card we want to draw. Wait, how does Time Warp help beat Infinite Life in game 1? Because you can't take a 4/4 Ballistic Rose. I don't think it actually does help. So then they're going to block and ping Ice-Fang. So I guess I will want to draw the Ephemerate. That way we can just Ephemerate the Ice-Fang after blocks. Because you take infinite turns, but you're just... you're slowly working towards decking yourself. Oh, I see. You that's right. You do deal infinite damage with infinite turns. You do deal infinite damage. That's right. Yes. Because you tap their team. Oh no, sorry. You keep resetting you keep Mystic Sanctuary so you don't deck yourself. That's right. I forgot about that aspect of it. That's pretty interesting. Very, very click intensive, but then you have to deal with the infinite life combo. So maybe we shouldn't be scooping to infinite life game 1. Although maybe like in challenges I won't scoop to infinite life, but then in like league play, it's maybe still just like better for everybody if you do scoop in spots like that. Yeah, in paper that should be a loop that you can establish. So it's definitely something to know about. In paper, maybe it's something that you should just play too. Given how important some specific creatures, is it sound to swap a magmatic sinkhole for a bolt? I think that's a fine suggestion, Coatl. I kind of think that's a good idea, maybe. I'm not sure. I might honestly might swap a path instead of a bolt. Not sure. Definitely one of those two. Maybe swap Helix number 3. No, you don't want to play Suppression Field in a fetch land Planeswalker deck. In my opinion. Yeah, Suppression Field stops fetches, and that's like why Suppression Field is so good, but it's so good that nobody plays it because it's good against every deck. What's the non-decking infinite loop turn with this deck? Yeah, so you just bounce your own Sanctuary with you tap their team and bounce your own Sanctuary with Cryptic. But wait, how are you drawing the Cryptic over? How are you drawing both the Cryptic and the Time Warp every turn? Maybe there isn't an infinite loop. Yeah, how are you drawing both Cryptic and Time Warp with the loop? I guess you just have Eternal Witness Ephemerate. Yeah, that's how. You just have Eternal Witness Ephemerate. That's the loop. Eternal Witness, Ephemerate, Time Warp, Cryptic Command, Mystic Sanctuary. It's not convoluted at all. Yeah, opponent's stumbling on mana. They didn't have a 2-mana spell to play this turn. They're going to have a max of 2 mana next turn. Seems good to just bounce this here. It's fine. I think. Yeah. You know, but at the same time, it's like your opponent also has to click through their infinite life, so it's not like, yeah, I don't know. I'll think about it some more. Hopefully we aren't put in like that situation too soon. I think I'm gonna Cryptic this, then play Ice-Fang. Maybe I was supposed to play Ice-Fang first. This game is pretty over, I think. Opponent got pretty mana flooded last game. Now they're mana screwed. Death in Texas has a ton of activated abilities. They play Stoneforge Mystic and Aether Vial. Maybe not a ton, but the Ghost Quarter too. Oops. So I'm going to counter draw. We don't need to bounce the Eternal Witness with Cryptic because we can just bounce it with Teferi. And Cryptic again next turn. But maybe I'll just Uro it next turn. I've said this many times, but my least favorite part about Uro is it just always feels like it's the best thing to do with your mana every single turn. Like that's like the unfun part for Uro for me is like when you have an Uro in play, like it's very often there's nothing better for you to do than spend your mana on Uro. Later, Coatl, have a good day. There is a challenge this weekend. However, I'm not playing in it. I'm going to be testing for the PT instead. And then the weekend after that is the PT. So, going to take a couple weekends off. The PT is both standard and historic. I think I know what I'm playing in historic. At least my deck list is like 98, 99% done. But I'm going to be focusing on standard for like today and tomorrow probably. Then Sunday, just make sure I've got everything how I want it. Opponent says left veil on side. I think you only have force. I don't know why they would think that. Force isn't even like that good against them. Do I prep on? Yeah, I've been prepping on Arena. I do think that that's the only place you can play historic, and I think it's better. Also better. I think it's also better to play standard, partially to learn the client, and I do think the best standard players are on Arena, in my experience. But yeah, I've been playing on Arena to test. Opponent still in the game. Very in the game, even. I feel like that diminishes like the quality of the usual stream, and I am not that interested in doing that. It's a weird hand, but we can pitch the Cryptic to Force, and we have Skyclave to keep. Yeah, I've been going deep with a lot of Brew Sanctum, and I do have a deck I'm going to almost definitely play at this point, but I've been liking, some artifact aggro strategies. Marvel is okay, but I think it's like it just has a lot of incidental hates. I'm not that into it. I think Neoform is real good, but also it has like a big target on its head. I think like Sultai is good. I think Blue Black is good. I think Gruul is very good too. I think Gruul is the best aggro deck. Yeah. Nobody's gonna watch standard Spike no commentary gameplay. That's also true. I had a similar argument when protesting a YouTube channel. Yeah. I mean, the YouTube channel is different though, because my YouTube editor does it all for me, right? Like the YouTube editor gets the videos, uploads them. I'm completely hands off. It's different because I have to put some effort towards streaming the off-stream prep. Okay. And it would also like tank my average viewer numbers, which I think are pretty important. Maybe they're less important than I think, but I am trying to like get my stats up and, grind and establish myself a bit. I'm really glad we forced that traverse. Yeah, my editor's been doing a really good job. Feel real happy. And the YouTube is like actually making money now, which is cool. I'm gonna draw a card. It's a pretty good card. Yeah, you always want to stack your triggers like this because of Ephemerate. I will go ahead and cycle the Ephemerate. What's special about the Modern Challenge video? I saw that he posted one. I didn't actually look at it. I don't know exactly what he posted. Yeah, he actually uses a software to edit, so it's a pretty nice situation that he's not spending like all of his free time editing this stuff, and he's got he it's not just me that he does a few other YouTube channels too, but he uses a software to edit that he made, and he's doing a real good job. But he puts, you know, it's not just like that he hits a button, he like, you know, makes the thumbnail, and it is still definitely work. Yeah, sure thing, Rip. I'm always happy to talk about it because, you know, at the end of the day, I freely admit that I'm just kind of a guy that's good at Magic and is very, very bad at the, like, marketing yourself side of streaming, you know? You know, I've had, like, look at my layout. I like this layout of just me being in a box. I like that, you know, with the no flashiness. That's, like, what appeals to me. But what appeals to me is not necessarily the best thing for the channel, so I think it is good to talk about it, even if I disagree with people. It is good to hear feedback. Yeah, I need to open more Pokemon boxes. That would be huge for the stream.
What's up? It's me, your friend.
I mean, I've got tons and tons of boxes of first edition in my closet, but I don't know. I'll probably just hold on to them. Adam, thank you for your 5 gifted subs to Grug, Ghost, Professor Chaos, JP, and Starry. Hope you're having a good day today. Appreciate
What's
you.
up? It's me, your friend, Aspiring Spike.
Yeah, I agree with that too, Simon, that my, like, relaxed, you know, low energy, if you will,
Welcome, Spike.
it is definitely a part of the draw to the channel. I think that, you know, to some extent there probably is an attitude of streamers need to be high energy in order to be successful, but that hasn't been my experience, and really what I believe is you just kind of have to be,
It's me, your friend, Aspiring Spike.
you know, you can't fake that kind of energy. If it's what you have naturally, that is like an advantage for you, but if you're a low energy person, it's fine. You can be successful and still be low energy.
Welcome, Spikelings, to the Shark Typhoon.
Have I thought about switching my camera and game window? Interesting idea. And it's also like if you just be yourself on stream, then the audience that you grind out and grow they're going to be, you know, people that you relate to if you act like yourself, if that makes sense. But if you fake it in any way, you know, your audience is just not going to be reflective of your personality, and you're going to have less fun with that. Delay? Interesting. Well, if they take Path, we can Eternal Witness back Path. And Eternal Witnessing back Path is, you know, fine against another counterspell because we still have the blocker, so they have to have 2 things to get through here. We are down to 8. Got a couple more turns on this delay. Yeah, I'm gonna cast the Witness and target the Path, and so they have to have, you know, either a counterspell for this, which a lot of counters miss, but the delay does hit. We dodge Drown and Stubborn Denial, but we don't dodge Delay. Don't dodge Delay. All right, fair enough. Delay is literally counterspell, but for 1 blue instead of blue, so I guess it's just a strictly better counterspell. Going to game 3, get to be on the play for this one. I agree with that, Simon. I agree with that. You know, I know I usually stream without a delay, but my opponent is kind of damping my style, making me stream with one. Well, yeah, some of these cards were in the main deck, but that's actually kind of funny. I have all blue cards in the sideboard now. Brought in the white and green ones. We're Celestia blue, baby. Celestia with a lot of blue. Opponent may be considering taking out some number of delays on the draw. I could see that being, what's happening here. On the play. And keep this. Good afternoon, Weeble. Maybe my opponent left to do something, and that's why the sideboarding thing took so long. I'm actually going to grab a Tums real quick while we wait for our opponent to show up. I'm back. Opponent's mulled to 5, I see. They actually just have a hard decision, I guess. Pretty bad matchup for them to mull to 5, but they are on the draw, so they get to mitigate the card disadvantage a bit. I'm gonna get a Temple Garden with the Strand. Yeah, 3-mana Teferi used to be so expensive. I recently bought paper Fun Ravelers. Not that long ago. I bought them for like $8, and I feel like they'll never be $8 again. I also don't really anticipate them reprinting the card very often. Why did it have to be in such a fun deck? Yeah, I might be buying this deck in paper too. I'm not that close to it though. I don't have any Misties or Uros. I guess that's the main thing I'm missing are Misties and Uros. I don't have any Heaths. I bought Skyclaves yesterday. I saw there were 4 foil Skyclaves on TCG Player for like $5 each, and I figured that was like the regular ones are also going for like 5 or 6. And I wasn't sure like why the foils were as much as regulars, but I bought them, and I'll probably like downgrade them to regulars because I actually don't have any other foils in my collection. It seemed like a pretty good buy. Well, they've had like a really good draw this game. Top of our library has not been super kind. They got a Tarmogoyf. Do they have a Stubborn Denial? Dude, losing this game against the mull to 5 would be crazy. I'm gonna upkeep tap draw. We're gonna need, if we draw Skyclave, we can go Skyclave plus Ephemerate. Just draw all lands this game, right? We've drawn only lands? Yeah. We still have some good draws here, but right on time, Veil of Summer. Welcome to the team. Just dead. Did we cast a single spell this game? We didn't. We didn't cast a single spell this game. It's crazy. Nasty. Nasty, nasty. Yeah, literally 1 mana Cryptic. Oh, I did cast a Cryptic. Yeah. Skyclave is 20 ticks. That's crazy. I bet the foil is real pretty. I'll report back once they come in. Well, thank goodness we have our out to turn 2 Matter Reshaper, which is usually unbeatable, of course. The Wall of Omens is like okay against Matter Reshaper. Like there's very few cards in Modern that can beat turn 2 Matter Reshaper, but this is like one of them. I'll let this resolve and just Skyclave the Tome. I imagine they take Venser here, and then the Thanatos here is pretty good on this board. Yeah, hopefully they just take the Witness. Yeah, Flooded Grove would be good here. So I guess I'm just gonna Ephemerate the Seer. Do it now to see if we find a land. We have the Wall of Omens to block the 2/2. Which is part of the reason why I like Wall so much, is Wall just blocks the Skyclave tokens as like an absolute floor of the card. I have found the E-Tron matchup to just be pretty good. Like your cards just line up pretty well against them. You have Ice-Fangs and Uros and Skyclaves and Remands, Teferis. It's certainly not a buy. But, you know, compared to the other big mana decks, you just don't seem to need as much hate for it. I think I'll remand this. Mostly just the cycle remand though. I don't really care too much. Oh no, we have a Ephemerate coming down, don't we? Okay, I'll force and I'll actually pitch remand and because Uro is so good against them. I know we're pretty far away from casting it, but we're about to get to draw 2 cards. If we just draw a green source, I'll be pretty happy we kept Uro. We did not draw a green source, though. Well, I guess I'm hoping to be able to force something this turn. My opponent has no play. Really? Oh, they're just attacking for no reason? They're going to dismember my wall? Warping Whale, my Wall of Omens. Say that 5 times fast. Yeah, Mystic Sanctuary, no deck building restrictions, of course. Warping Whale, my Wall of Omens. Now they dismember the Skyclave. Fair enough. A lot of good draws here. That's okay. I'll take it. I'll take 4 off the illusion here. And then if they have no play here, we'll bounce the illusion end of turn and draw a card. Scavenger Grounds is good. Makes me wish I had pitched the Uro. Oh, I just realized we're playing against Mateus 34. Who's just an absolutely legendary E-Tron grinder. I've had many high-profile matches against Mateus. He's usually pretty high on the trophy leaderboard, and I think still is right now. What a weird game this has been. No, I'm not playing Soul Herder in this build. I think Soul Herder has always been worse than Ephemerate, and if you don't play it, you get to play a lot more controlling cards like Force and Remand. Whereas it's just hard to play very many non-creature spells in Soul Herder decks. It's an okay draw. Let me play a Wall of Omens first. Alright, we're doing a no green mana challenge run. You know what? No, they thought not seared us. They know. I think they know we have Uro, right? Or they know we had Eternal Witness. Well, I've also played against Mateus a couple times with a deck like this. Come on, dude. Are you kidding me? What a top deck. Has all the luck in the world. Can you believe that some players just run this hot? Matter Reshaper. I thought we were just trying to have a fun, relaxing match, and my opponent plays Matter Reshaper. What's ever fun for you, dude, I guess. I guess I'll get an Uro out of my hand. They are going to sack the grounds, but that's just kind of going to be something that happens. Yeah, we're playing fun 3-mana cards like Uro. Okay, we drew an out. Already had one, but we drew it out to Matter Reshaper, so we can keep playing. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe I overreacted a bit. Wouldn't the green-white filter land be better than the blue-green one? Well, we have Cryptic Command. So I don't think so. In this situation, yeah. Confused on the no concession. I don't know. It feels like if we have maybe a chance of beating it. Like, Thought Not Seer is pretty beatable here, of course. They might take Uro over Skyclave. It's kind of weird. Ice-Fang is also real good against them. Yeah, they take the Skyclave. I think that's the best choice here. Between Cryptic and Uro, I feel like the blue-green filter land. The problem with blue-green is that it doesn't let you filter basic planes into mana for Uro, and that's why I've been playing this is so you can filter that white mana into Uro mana, because Uro and basic planes have always been mortal enemies, and just mitigating that downside has been pretty nice. What would I give up for the Bant Triome? I mean, the mana base would look different, but I would play maybe 2 because the mana base stinks, but I'd be thrilled. The second breeding pool would probably get cut for the Bant Triome. 3/3 Walking Ballista. Well, I guess that's a pretty free kill there. I will chump block with a wall, and that's just another card in the graveyard for Uro, and we can Ewit back an Ice-Fang, and the Ewit will probably go to the graveyard too. Interesting. Very interesting. Maybe we get back Wall of Omens. No, I'm going to get back the Ice-Fang because I want them to use a counter on the Ice-Fang. And then maybe we get to Ephemerate the Skyclave Apparition. Oh, I don't have another green source that enters untapped off Flooded Strand. I have 2 forests in the deck. Yeah, Flooded Strand is my non-green fetch, of course. They're paying costs for another Seer. I think I'm just going to Ephemerate Wall of Omens. What about a Hinterland Harbor instead of a breeding pool? I don't think so. Do I prefer my Pepsi hot or cold? I like to boil it and then just kind of let it simmer a bit. I'll double block a TKS. Although I guess they just ping the Ewit. Yeah, they just ping the Ewit if we do that. I do want something to die here. That way we have enough cards in the graveyard to escape Uro. So I guess what I'm going to... We'll see how they attack, but what I might do is Ephemerate targeting Skyclave Apparition, and that way we get the Ballista off the field no matter what. But what's more likely to happen is my opponent will just kill my Apparition with the Ballista, right? I guess it doesn't really matter if they kill it or not. Yeah, actually I think they shouldn't have killed it, because now this puts the Skyclave in the graveyard, and then we get to escape Uro. So maybe this was a mistake by them. Okay, I'm going to thin a bit first. This also lets us leave an Ephemerate in the graveyard for Ewit. So we're both top decking. But we have Uro and they don't. And now we have a Force for like their very best top decks. We are non-creatures. I guess even Ballista is not their very best. I think like Ugin or All Is Dust or Karn would be their best draws. Is this a fun allowed stream? We can have some fun, but let's try not to overdo it. I know people come here to have me, again, dryly commentate over 15 perfectly played matches of Magic every day. Chalice on 3. Well, I'll counter your Chalice on 3. When did we schedule the fun? That's a good point. I'm not sure when we're going to have time for fun in between our, again, 15 rounds of dry commentary. Maybe after we win the PT, we can have some fun. I like this block a lot. We should be able to escape this Uro again, right? Offbeat Hero, thank you for the raid. Hope you're having a good day today, bud. Uro is so fun because one card just keeps coming back over and over again. Everyone likes it. Everyone loves Uro. How many times did we cantrip that turn? So many. Will I brew a new Splitter Twin today? We do. I'd say it's pretty common for us to discover new Splitter Twins every day, although it has been a while, I suppose. As soon as our opponent doesn't draw a spell for turn, I think this game ends. I don't have another Mystic Sanctuary in my deck. I'm just going to attack with the Uro. And we'll see if they... I'm going to keep this in hand to discard to the Reality Smasher trigger. We'll see how they block. Alright, that's game. I think. There's no reason to target Smasher. I guess you're right. This is also probably not that necessary. But they did have a block, a double block, yeah. So we won game one. So I have been thinking that Anthonice is better than Path. So Anthonice is better against Matter Reshaper, Reality Smasher, and Walking Ballista than Path. Path is better against Thought Not Seer in my evaluation. But Anthonice is also vulnerable to Blast Zone. So there is some give and take there, but I have been bringing them in. I also think I've been cutting 2 walls, 1 Ephemerate, bringing in the Venser, bringing in the Teferi. Let me actually consult my sideboard guide, and if you guys are interested in a sideboard guide for this deck, they are available to subscribers on the Discord. You can, if you link your Discord and Twitch accounts, you can find it, and you can join the Discord by typing !Discord in chat. It's a nice, little thank you to subscribers. So against E-Tron, my sideboard guide has me going -2 Path, +3 Anthonice, minus all 3 walls. It doesn't have me bringing in the Teferi. Let me think about that. It has me playing the second Tails End instead of the Teferi. Let me actually try only 2 Time Ravelers, 1 Hero, 2 Tails End. I kind of like that. I'm not going to change it in the guide yet. I'm just going to try it out. Thoughts on the Feldar plus Glasspool plus Thieves Guild. Okay, Thieves Guild. Oh, Thieves Guild Enforcer. I mean, it's interesting. I think that it's going to be, of course, and I'm sure you know this, generally worse than the Saheeli combo. And wait, is Saheeli or Feldar Guardian banned in Pioneer? I think it's Guardian. It's pretty good. I mean, walls are only good against Matter Reshaper. I know it's like a bit of a meme, how we're going to beat Matter Reshaper, but it's just only good against Reshaper, and Reshaper is not that good against you in general, so I don't think you want to have the walls in. Turn 2 Seer, turn 3 Smasher would be pretty tough to beat. I was right, this is going to be tough to beat. Yeesh. Alright, it's a pretty good draw. It's also nice that Antonice does not trigger Smasher's ability. And we do die to... I guess we don't die to like Blast Zone this turn or another Smasher. Dude, what a start. Turn 2 Seer, turn 3 Smasher, turn 4 Smasher. It's pretty nasty. Guess we need to draw another Antonice. Or, you know, Ice-Fang could be... No, Ice-Fang doesn't block this very well. Pog Champion, I guess. Gets Blast Zone. You know what we have, though, to play around Blast Zone? Tail's End. Yeah, they know we have the Tail's End. No! No! Oh, come on. Don't you do it. Don't you dare do it. Don't... if they have Smasher number 3, it's going to be... Okay. Whew. They're floating an Eldrazi mana, though. I mean, just let this resolve. Not sure why that's being floated. I guess we'll find out, maybe. They didn't play around the second Tail's End. They do take one here. Thankfully, we have the Remand to the Mana Reshaper. Of course, it's very, very difficult to beat Reshaper without a card like Remand here. But thankfully, we were able to have an out. Still died to another Smasher, but you know, that would be the third Smasher, of course. Now we don't. I'll leave up Venser. I'll leave up Venser. Seems good to me. We do have to leave up, as long as they leave up Blast Zone, we have to leave up Tail's End, but I think that's doable. Okay, well they're not leaving up Blast Zone here, so I'll just Venser the Seer, I guess. What a weird game. Ah! Maybe that joke will get unfunny one day. But after running the numbers, it currently still is very funny. Yeah, but it is not. Today is not that day, exactly. So if they thought not Seer, I think I'm just going to counter the ETB trigger. Game should be really hard for our opponent to come back from. Because we can just Cryptic tap them next turn. Spike, why didn't you counter the Thought Not Seer? Good question, chat. Okay, well. Can you believe the luck of some players? Okay, so now we can Mystic Sanctuary back Tail's End and Ice-Fang into it. I think that I will just do like that in response to their turn. Did I ever misclick there? When I pretend to concede? Not yet, but it could happen. I'm very misclick prone. Yeah, they went turn 2 Thought Seer, turn 3 Smasher, turn 3 Smasher. Then have cast spells every turn after that. And they were on the play too. It's crazy that we are just gonna win this game pretty easily. Although that's not true, not easily. We top decked like 2 on thin ice at the perfect time. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Alright, 4-1 that league.